not making the playoff.
Oh.
They will lose to somebody in the regular season. And
Can you tell me who? Can you tell me who though?
I couldn't tell you who. I couldn't. Last year I predicted Alabama to lose in the regular season. I predicted them to lose to Auburn, and it ended up being A&M. All I knew was that they weren't good enough to run the table. Somebody was going to have a great game on a night when they're off, and they were going to get beat, and that's what happened to them. To A&M. The same thing's going to happen to Georgia.
Tell me why Georgia's not good enough.
Because you don't run the, you just because it's just too hard to run the table. It's just too hard to. It's so hard to do it. And
I don't know. I feel like the East is just Georgia's bounds and leaps above everybody in the East.
The East is definitely weaker than the West, and Georgia's chances of running the table are better than Bama's. Right. I just think somebody somewhere along the way, and it might not even be Georgia plays bad. There'll be a stupid dropped punt or something crazy will happen.
Or block punt, whatever.
Because it just happens that way. It's so hard to run the table.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna just say this.
If you're Georgia, the last thing you want is to be Alabama last year. That's going to Atlanta with a loss, knowing you're playing for your life, because you'd be playing for your life in Atlanta, a city where Alabama has won 15 consecutive games. You'll be playing in Atlanta against Alabama, who has beat you 7 of the last 8 times, and you'll be playing in Atlanta against an Alabama team much better than the Alabama team last year, while you're not as good as you were last year, and an Alabama team who's been waiting all year to kick your teeth in.
Yeah. Well, you can build up the hype for y'all can build up the hype for Alabama all you want to, but if Georgia does drop one in the regular season, I promise you, this is a promise, Georgia will win the SEC championship if Georgia drops one.
Now hold on. I guess I could attest to that. Having a loss gives you motivation. Let me say this. You know who I think Georgia should watch out for, Matthew? Watch out for week 3 at South Carolina.
True.
Watch that.
Or Mississippi State.
Where's that game? Let me see. At Mississippi State late in the season.
It's in Starkville.
There's look, this is not a good it's not a good schedule for you guys. I say that in the sense like it's not going to be a cakewalk.
Look, I think Georgia, in my opinion, Georgia is the best team in every game they play in the regular season. They'll be the best team that night going onto the field.
Right.
But somewhere along the line, ridiculous shit happens.
I'm going to say this.
Kansas beats Texas. South Carolina three or 4 years ago goes to Athens and beats. Ole Miss goes to Bryant-Denny and beats Alabama when Bama has 5 turnovers. I mean, dumb things sometimes happen.
But I'm going to just say this. I'm going to go on the record and say this. We're not Georgia from even 3 or 4 years ago. We're Georgia that just came off a national championship. And the difference between all them other teams and this year's Kirby Smart team is Kirby Smart has been laying down a foundation, and he's had consecutive top 3 recruiting classes. To say that Georgia's not going to make the playoffs this year is kind of crazy, because every single team that has won the national championship, except for Ohio State and LSU, have went back to the playoffs the very next year. So to say that is kind of crazy. And another thing is Georgia's defense will not, and I promise this, I'll bet every penny I have in my life savings, which is 0, by the way. And but Georgia will not let any defense score over 30.
I bet. You make great points. You do make great points, Matthew. I will give you that. And we're not saying that it can't happen. We're not saying that anything. We're just saying like history has shown.
Right. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying is that the long arc of history shows you how difficult it is. That all-time great Georgia defense that you had last year, which was peanuts compared to the 1961 Alabama defense, which had 5 shutouts and gave up 25 points in 11 games, and was the all-time, not the 2021 Georgia. That all-time great
you're
Georgia
wrong.
defense,
You're wrong, sir.
that all-time great Georgia defense is not going to be on the field this year. They'll still be good. They'll still be
Do you
top
know
5,
who we
top 6.
do you know who we bring back though? I mean, you bring back
You lost 7 starters to the draft.
right, but you don't
gotta
think
do-
Kirby Smart, which led a lot of your defenses at Alabama, you don't think he's going to be able to restack like Bama and Clemson and even LSU does every single year?
Not at the level that he played at last year. He's not going to be able
You're
to
talking
replicate
about
that level. He'll still be
Yeah, of
good.
course.
They'll be great. They'll be superior, but they won't be what they were last year. And what
yeah,
they
they'll
were
go
last
from
year,
all right. They're going to go from the number 1 defense to the number 5. Whoop de freaking do.
Right.
You're still a top 5 defense.
right? And Bama had the number 7 defense last year, and they're about to jump up to about number 2 or number 3.